Folks, welcome to the Bodybuilding for Everyone podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Disney, and with me today is longtime friend from a distance God, I think it's been like 5 years, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in between there. Yep.
The one and only Ant Gonzalez. Anthony, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me on here today.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
I understand you are a full week out from your show at this point, right?
I am. Yep, 7 days today.
So let's get into that a little bit first, because first of all, you're peeled. This is by far the best condition I've ever seen you bring. You, like myself, I think haven't competed since 2018, 2019?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
2 years. Yeah, 2019. No, dude, 2021 was
okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. But we have traditionally competed around the same time since I met you, which I thought was always pretty cool. And then both of us had a lot of growing to do and took some nice long off seasons. But I mean, you're in it now. So what's prep been like? You recently switched to a new coach. Definitely some major, changes have been going on with your protocols and some major differences in your look. What's that been looking like?
So obviously I did change coaches. My previous coach, Terrence, I have nothing bad to say about. I've learned so much from him. He has been not only a great coach, but a good friend. I was just getting to a point where I was starting to think that my fatigue was building up a little bit too high.
Okay.
I feel like the workload. So I work 3 jobs. I'm at a meal prep company that I basically manage, and then I serve on the weekends at a restaurant, and then I coach, and then I actually just pick up a valet job at a steakhouse. But I was like hitting like 20,000 steps before I even get into the gym. So it's like there's so much output elsewhere. And, my food got pretty low. And for a while, for about 8 till I was about 6 weeks out, I didn't really feel like I was in prep. And then right around 7 or 8 weeks out, it just started to catch up. The fatigue just caught up to me. And I mentioned a couple of times that I was like kind of like almost passing out during cardio. My cardio got gotten up to 75 minutes. And, he mentioned a few times about lowering it, and it just like never happened. And, I'm not here to say anything bad at all. I just felt unhurt a couple of times. So right around 3.5 weeks out, I just was a little concerned with my health. And I just been doing this long enough to know that something's wrong, and I'm not being like a bitch, because you think like I listen to my coach. I just got to do, just suck it up, figure it out. Right. And I had known Cam for probably about the same time that I've known you.
Yeah,
probably 6 years. We used to interchange messages all the time, and then I was actually going to go with him, and at the time I just wasn't doing that good financially, so I didn't. I went with Terrence, which is zero regrets. So I sent him a voice message, and I was like, "Hey, this is where I'm at. I'm stressed." I was like, "I feel like my physique's kind of falling apart. I'm kind of been deteriorating a little bit, and I'm watching my size vanish, and I'm starting to plateau with fat loss." And before I even send like the rest, I sent like 4 memos. He listened to 1, and he was like, "Call me. Like, let's do this." He had me give him everything that I've been doing for the last 10 weeks, from diet to protocol to training. And I'm not kidding, dude. Within a week, he's like learned my body.
Yeah.
He legitimately, I have nothing but good things to say about him. I'm very, 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 very beyond grateful that he would just kind of take me and kind of like just get me into the nitty gritty right away. And then so basically what happened was we completely just pulled cardio out.
Yep. And watch your body kind of start bouncing back, right?
Yeah. Just every day I've just been gotten a little tighter, a little fuller, a little better. I'm like starting to really come back to life. But I was pretty down bad, man. And like it's just been more food over time. And right now we're at a place where we just finished up about 4 or 5 lower days. And
okay,
what I mean by low is like it's been like 200 carbs, which isn't even low to where I was before.
No, yeah.
50 fats, about 250 protein. This will be the last day of that. And then tomorrow I have a big refeed coming with about 650 carbs, which I'm very
nice.
I haven't had any refeeds or cheat meals within 26 weeks.
No shit.
Yeah, nothing, dude. So it's just like, it's the thing. It's like there was just a constant
down, yeah,
but nothing to recover from. And I train hard too. It's like I don't train like I train like somewhat similar to like low volume.
Yeah, no,
you know,
I know you and I both are big fans of Dorian's training style, and
100%.
yeah. So I see the way you train. It's like it is exactly the way I like to be in the gym too. And yeah, you're right that with how fucking high your output is, like I'm really surprised there wasn't more fatigue management in play.
It was getting bad. I was like breaking up cardio into 6 sessions sometimes because it kept getting cold and then lightheaded and like nearly falling off the stairmat.
Yeah.
Sitting there, I'm trying to collect myself, and I'm like, I've done 120 minutes of cardio. The first prep I did, I prepped myself.
Yeah.
Extreme, dude. But I didn't feel that bad as if I felt now. But I also wasn't much. Like I was feeding myself a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it will catch you. Like, and then your body will fight you.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a lot more muscle now than you did that first prep as well. And so yeah, the needs are just higher. Damn. Yep. Okay. So that's really cool how fast things have kind of been coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that kind of, I mean, we talk about this a lot more these days about how you kind of want to be ready a little bit early so that you can really pull back on just all the work related stimuli that you're applying. Right. Yep. And as your body, it's almost like you're deloading going into your peak. And your body tends to just bounce back when that happens. You get tighter, you get fuller. You have a less tired look. Your physique starts to fill out a little bit more and you're not like stringy as much. And it seems like that's just kind of what's happening by default. Just it's been happening, you know, what you switched it, you said about 2.5 weeks out, something like that, 3 weeks out.
17 days he took me. So from 7.
Yeah. So 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool to see, man. Well, I'm looking forward to your show. I think it's so funny that you said up until about 6 weeks out, it didn't even feel like prep because that's fucking exactly. That's right where I've been at, man. It's just been a breeze. The first, like 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. We were just moving food upward, and I was not really losing, but I was getting. How long have you been with Cam now? Fuck, almost 5 years, I think.
I knew it was.
So I switched to him right after my last show, which was what 2018, I think, or 2019. First show was 2018. Then 19, I did 2 shows 3 weeks apart. Yeah, all with the same coach, Ariel. You know, great guy. He was local to me, so it was really, you know, it was cool to have that. He's been on all my shows and would see me in person, all this stuff. And about that time, Cam was kind of like starting to branch out and start coaching people. And we were just talking back and forth. And he's like, yeah, dude, like, I think we could you need to build for a while. I think we could do some cool stuff. And it's really cool to see how all of his shit has transformed over the past 5 years. Right. But yeah. So this prep has been great up until now. We're about 6 weeks out and now I'm starting to feel it. Fatigue is catching up and he's like, well, we got to push you a little bit harder. So this is where I know we're kind of going to be getting into the wire and I'm going to start suffering. I think the way that you have, hopefully not as bad.
You're going to look awesome, dude. Right where you're at right now. I'm really excited to see the end result.
Thank you, man. I mean, same to you.
Thank you.
So damn. Yeah. So you and I think started bodybuilding around the same time as well. I mean, when did we start talking? It was leading up to, I think, both of our first shows or right around there. And
I don't know what your first show was. It the same one that I did? It wasn't, no, because you're not local. I did Northeast Summer Classic.
Yeah. For me, it was a Contra Costa over in California in Hayward.
17?
What's that?
2017. When was that?
It might have been for you. It was 18 for me.
Okay, I think it was 17 for me, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. And truly, I don't even remember how we got connected. I know another guy who was local to me was Al Fong, and you were working with him for a long time. And we connected right away because you and I were both really enamored with the presentation and the artistry involved in posing. And so, I mean, truly, I probably would have never competed if Classic had not come out, right? Because
honestly, probably same.
My interest in bodybuilding was really, really limited to the display, at least for a long time. Now it's obviously grown and I can't see my life without the overall structure it provides.
Of course. Hold you in. That was the same for me, dude. It was
yeah. And fuck. So tell me about kind of how you got started around that time, because I know your story is very similar to mine as far as our histories prior to getting into bodybuilding and kind of having to change a lot about our lives and get healthy, and you know, in the face of some bad habits and shit. So if you want to start kind of just like diving in there, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could kind of start with like, you know, so I battled, you know, heroin addiction for probably about opiate abuse, I would say, for about 6 years.
Okay.
I started recreationally using, you know, pot, whatever. And I didn't have a dad in the picture, and I ended up, you know, having to kind of grow up on my own. My mom was, you know, a single mother and trying to be a nurse, and I kind of just had to fend for myself. Gave me all the love I needed. I just was like kind of on my own a lot, and I tend to gravitate towards people who were kind of in the same field. Like, didn't have a lot of guidance, didn't have a lot of love, and we just started getting in trouble together. And during that time, I had always like being interested in lifting though. Like from like 10 years old on, like I remember seeing Predator, and I remember seeing the Terminator, and like I was just immediately like, I want to do that. And it was always a constant struggle of me like wanting to be healthy, but like the demons inside always took over, and it was like always kind of a fight between the two. I think when I was 14, and one of my friends like hurt his back on a quad and got opiates, and he was overprescribed, and we just started my candy.
Fuck.
And within 2 years, 3 years, I'd been doing them every day, and I didn't have them one day, and I realized I was like dependent.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked. I didn't think I would ever get to that point. I didn't really know much about it in Dare. We didn't hear about pills. Like I knew crack was bad. I knew heroin. Like you know, right? And but it made me feel wholesome inside because there was definitely a void in me that I had, and I feel like I could be myself. I feel like I could be funny. I can be charismatic the way I want to be. Like, and it gave me like a false sense of confidence that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I got pretty bad with that, and then got to the point where I kind of pulled the pills out and moved on to heroin.
Yeah.
6 months, I was homeless. I was in and out of jail, in and out of rehabs, and the last run that I did was very short, and then I ended up being offered an institution that was 18. No, it was a year long. It was a Christian-based program in upstate New York. It was 6 hours away from where I lived. I like knew I needed to get away from everything. I had no kids. I had no girl. It was like the perfect time. I'm 22 years old. So I moved out there. I was the youngest kid there. I ended up staying there for a total of 18 months. But it was basically like Bible studies mixed with therapy, where you just talked about your issues every day.
Yeah.
And it completely saved my life, dude. Like straight up and down. But while I was there was a shed, and we had a bench, we had a squat rack, we had dumbbells that went up to 150, and we had a couple of machines, bunch of old school stuff. I was in there 3 times a day, dude. Like, and I found the Arnold Encyclopedia there, and I read it 4 times over, and I learned how to diet myself in there. So I did a full bulk in there, and I cut. So I bulked for a year, and I cut for 8 months.
Wow.
It's on my Instagram somewhere, and I ended up coming up with pretty good results. And there's a transition period where 9 months in the program, and you get to go to school and work. So I had already gotten a bunch of credits. I was in school for nursing, and then I had switched to PT. I wanted to be a PT.
Mm-hmm.
And I switched to wanting to do nutrition-based stuff. And so I studied nutrition for 2 years in Corning, New York. And then I kind of just was like, do I really want to go further with this and really like go back to school? And it was like one of those things where it's like I'm kind of a little older, but I'm not that old. I was like 24 when I graduated the program, maybe. And I ended up deciding to want to self-teach a little bit more. And I got certs, and I ended up with doing personal training, and I moved back to New Jersey. And throughout this entire time, I had been going to an old school gym, and a couple people there were telling me I had good shape and like I had good lines, like I should be. But it was just I'm very introverted, and I could never imagine me getting in front of people and like putting myself on display.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up going to a show, and I seen one, and I thought it was awesome. And it was cool because I had witnessed a kid do a full bulk and a full prep over the span of the time I've been in the gym. So I like watched him bring his food, bring his meals, and there was something different about him. And he had like this structure that I had built through being in a program. And then that structure went into bodybuilding. So then I ended up like, bringing 6 meals everywhere I went, drinking 2 gallons a day, weighing food out. And then I just started tracking things and seeing how my body would, if I did less food this day, if I did more cardio this day. And I just started like keeping a logbook of things over time to see how things would affect me. And then one day after I went to a show, I reached out to Alex, and then I was like, hey, like, I really like your style. I like who you are as a person. Like, you know, is there any way you're taking clients? Like, you know, I have a little bit of a training background. I know, you know, somewhat training, stuff like that. And then he took me over and he taught me a bunch, man. Like, honestly, like I learned a bunch about carb cycling from him. What else did I learn from him? Some things with vacuuming, a lot of things with posing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of been growing ever since then. And like, truthfully for me, bodybuilding has created like structure and it's constant proof that if I have faith in doing things every day, that the work just kind of comes, right?
Yes.
So like,
Yes.
it's like the most, it's slow, but it's very quick. Like when you're in a prep, you see that in 16 weeks, if you're like stacking things the way they're supposed to go, you see from week to week, you get better. And it just applies everywhere in life where it's like, that goes hand in hand. Like, you know, you're willing to put time into things and be meticulous about things, like you're going to get results anywhere. And it's equated to so many different layers of my life that I feel like bodybuilding has made me a better man,
Absolutely,
a better character, and just a better worker. And I got nothing. Like, dude, it's not only just saved my life, but it's like leveled me up as a man. And you just like going through a prep, like it's obviously a privilege, but there are definitely like points in time where you're definitely tested mentally. And I think it's good to have those mental tests. I also think it's good that we deny ourselves of instant gratification and like things like food. We don't need to eat everything we want. Like
that's huge.
It's huge. It's character building, man. It's like putting your card away after, you know, you went food shopping. No one cared really, but it's something you're doing to build character in yourself. Like
it's the right thing to do.
It's just the right thing. Exactly.
Dude. There is so much there that I want to like dive into right now, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do like all of it justice. But yeah, I mean, I relate to so much of that, right? The addiction background. For me, I wasn't exposed to any kind of weightlifting until I had already been clean for, you know, a couple months. I think like maybe 2 months in, or even a month in, I was like, dude, I'm 125 pounds. I'm fucking 6 feet tall. I look like terrible. I've always felt terrible about myself. I need to start doing something because nothing's going to change unless I make it change. Right. And that was like a lesson that I learned through like getting clean in the first place. Like it's not going to improve until I take action and kind of surrender to a process that is greater than myself.
Amen.
And it just kept like snowballing from there. Like, you know, like the snowball rolling down the hill. I started going to the gym because push-ups weren't doing it anymore. And then I start getting a little bit more in depth, like, oh, well, I could pay attention to what I'm eating too. And there's many more layers of, you know, science that goes into training. So I could really be getting more out of, you know, that. And I feel like almost my addictive tendencies where I desire more kind of helped lead me into like, okay, no, how can I level this up? How can I be 100. Better? And I like what you said about the deprivation, because ultimately addiction is like a dopamine disease, right? People like us, for whatever reason, don't tend to feel the same satisfaction after like a basic job well done. You know, I took out the trash, I cleaned my kitchen, I did my homework, I showed up at work and did a good job. I don't get these big spikes of like reward in my brain, you know, when these things happen. They're there, but they seem muted. And so once I exposed myself to like really strong things, like you meant, I mean, opiates. I was always scared of opiates, but I was a big stimulant guy. So a lot of like speed of different kinds. And then, you know, fucking party drugs. I grew up in the Bay Area, so the underground rave scene was very big there. And these things just give me this massive reward feeling with zero effort, right? And on top of that, I'm putting myself in these big social settings which, like you said, I'm kind of an introvert, right? Like I'm scared of people because I am afraid they're going to perceive me in the negative way that I perceive myself, which is bullshit. And I've definitely learned that by now. But yeah, dude, I know we've always clicked, and I think this is a big reason, even though you and I personally have not really like dug into this ourselves, like together. But so I've been feeling this prep, because I don't know about you. I'm still prone to highs and lows, you know, even.
Dude, I'm definitely not immune or fixed.
Yeah.
You know,
it's an ongoing thing, right?
A lot of growth though, but definitely a lot of work, more to do, you know?
Yeah. But look at your life now. You 3 fucking jobs, right? at least what I forget the valet notwithstanding, I mean, the meal prep and then the coaching, like you have made bodybuilding the like kind of anchor point in your life, and all of the like real adult shit that you do, or most of it, is really tied into that. It's the same for me. Bodybuilding is my entire life now.
Yep.
And I feel like the structure that it provided us with, like, no, you don't need to make decisions. I do the same thing every day. It makes me feel good, right? I check off boxes. And if I deprive myself of like the really, really rewarding things that don't take any effort, like drugs and shit, that checking off of the boxes and doing what needs to be done actually feels rewarding now.
Dude, 100%. 100%, man.
Yeah, dude. So I'm happy to have been able to have you kind of share that a little bit. How many times have you competed in total now?
I want to say this will be the 4th show. So I've done
Okay.
Yep. I've done 1 regional, 1 national, and then
That's right. You did do a national show. I remember.
Yeah, I got creamed.
But you showed up, dude. You did it.
Yeah, that's all that matters, right? Yeah, so this will be the 4th one. This will be the 4th one. Yeah,
and
1 nationals.
Okay, you are a little older than me. I forget how old you are. 32. Not that much older, actually.
What do you? What? I was thinking.
I'll be 28 in a few days.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. I know it doesn't feel real. You know, I'm still an 18-year-old kid whenever I like think about myself.
Yeah, I still feel like that too.
But okay, so, and I mean, you've gotten better and better as you've gone. This is going to by far be your best look. What do you feel like you've improved the most upon just within your physique through the long off season that you've had between the last few shows and this upcoming one?
So I would say like the biggest staple in regards to like my progression would be the training.
Okay.
I think that's something that is very underutilized.
Yeah.
The importance of like training properly and really milking movements for what they are, dude. Like I would say in regards to like body part progression, I would say everything's kind of came up a bit as I wanted it to. I was kind of, little, I don't know if I was a little more upper body heavy at the time, but I feel like a lot more symmetrical this time around.
I see that.
I still need like a lot of room for growth. So I'm right now I'm 163. So my weight cap's 170. So there's definitely still room to grow, which makes me happy because I wasn't sure where I was going to land. I had no idea. I'm up 10 pounds from the last time I competed, about 10 or 11 pounds.
Okay.
I think I was 153 last time I stepped on. Actually, every time I've stepped on stage, I've been 153.
Yeah, dude. 190, 195 for me. You
get a little lighter, but you're a little bigger, but you're like a little harder because that's kind of what it was for me always.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, the training more than anything. And like, I think the only issue I really had with, I think I could have progressed more was I did have a little bit of lower back issues at some point.
Okay.
And then a wrist issue from just cutting so many potatoes. But more importantly, dude, like I think we fed me too fast.
You think so?
Yeah, I think we increased food too much and too fast to where like my appetite died, and then I started up for calories with dirty ones.
Mm-hmm.
That ultimately ruins my gut. And then I came the next day, and then I find myself in a process of trying to catch up with dirty food, but dirty food makes me sick.
Yep.
So that I never really get to where I need to go, and I'm just kind of overloading bad calories, and then I started getting too soft. I was 207, like my peak bulk, which was way too heavy for me.
Sure.
I shouldn't really be over 195. I believe I shouldn't be anywhere over there.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that's a good place, maybe even 190. So I don't really know what the plans are in regards to this one. I do know that we're only doing this show.
Okay.
Cameron does want me to do nationals next year, which would be so I don't know how long that would give me in the off season, but plans to reverse, rebound, and kind of get to it. Right to it.
Okay. Yeah. I like that a lot. So you do intend to stick with him following the show and
yeah, I'm a lifer now. I'm here for good.
I know, dude. I think that'll be a good move for you too.
What's your plans now? Are you just doing this and getting out and returning, or are you doing this and then a national?
Wow, that's a really good question. We haven't talked about nationals. I've never thought that I was like anywhere near that caliber.
I think I also don't think that it would hurt if you took more time though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm definitely not going to be a shoo-in at nationals. And I feel like when you, there's no like totally right way to do it. I think there's a lot of value in showing up on a national stage like you did, so you can see the caliber of the competition that those shows brings, right? So yeah, I don't know. I think part of it will depend on how I do at this show.
Yeah.
I'm in Texas now. Texas shows are a lot more competitive than in California, and so I expect that to be a bit of a barrier. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to be one of the smaller guys. I always am anyway. I think.
Same.
But you know, I tend to. What's that?
I said, me and you are more of like shape and condition guys.
Yeah.
But what's good about that, dude, is like shape is not something you can really create. I mean, you can create shape. Don't get me wrong. You can improve.
Yeah.
But when you already are starting with a pretty shape, it's really easy to improve that shape. I think it's kind of a blessing to have shape to build on, right?
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, I've never been one of the super wide shouldered dudes with like smaller waists, unfortunately, and that is the direction that Classic has gone. But I think that being strategic in where I've grown and where I've focused, and just again the way I pose has always been really important because it dramatically changes the way I look. I appreciate that, dude. I still need to put together a routine. I go in there to practice all the time. Yeah, and all I do is end up just freestyling and kind of having a good time with it. I really do need to sit down with Josiah or Jarek or both of them. And
I was so dead like the last 4 weeks, man, and that was like my plan was to at 5 weeks out really like choreograph one, but I was like falling apart, dude. I could not.
The cool thing is you have so much experience with like full freestyles that I think you could even wing it if you wanted to.
Probably gonna have to. I'm actually seeing my buddy Justin Batterina Sunday. I'm gonna be hanging out with him and Kumar, and he's gonna help me kind of go through it. So maybe we'll come up with something. If not, I'm probably just gonna flow. But it's all good.
He's another one that I've really enjoyed watching come up because I think I met him maybe a little after you.
Great human.
Yeah, it seems like it. A really bright future. I mean, great showing this year. I know there were some struggles, but man, dude, you get another year or two, and it's going to be something to see.
Very big problem.
But what was the original question? Now, nationals.
You said, well, in regards to what you said to me, we were talking about what would you say the biggest thing has changed for you?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Training.
So you feel like you brought your legs up a little bit more. You're a little more symmetrical all around. You always did a really hard, grainy look, and that is 100% the case this time. I think
that's another thing I would equate to training. I do believe, like the heavy weights, the slow eccentrics, you're recruiting more muscle fibers.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think something that I've really bought into over the last 4 or 5 years is that training is the vehicle, like you said, for the changes that our physiques go through. The food and the drugs and the recovery tactics, those are support. They're all supporting roles because you can do all of those, but your physique will not change. Training really is the catalyst. And so keeping training performance high, sticking with the same movements for long periods of time, and really treating them as skills that I need to improve and perfect and see my performance jump over time has been really important in me, I think, growing, You grow every time I see you look bigger. Like, no, seriously though. That might be prep. That's the coolest part about all this is like, there's like, I don't know if you want to call it our generation, but it's like our generation of bodybuilding, like guys that came up with us 5-6 years ago. It is so cool to see where we're all at now. Yeah.
It's such a, like even Cam, Cam's just a coaching route. It's like, it's so cool to just like, meet people online who are doing like-minded things, and you're branching, and I'm watching you grow as a person, and I'm watching him grow as a bodybuilder. Like it's so cool to see where we're all at now.
It is, yeah. There's
like think about that, like
there's a camaraderie that we kind of like.
It's like a little family team, which is that.
It is, except we're just fucking scattered all over the place. You know what I mean?
Very cool.
I really need my brother is near you now. He's back in Manhattan and we'll be staying there. Okay. So I really need to get another opportunity. I know, dude. I've never been to Jersey.
Oh, dude, you would love the gym I go to. So.
I bet. Yeah. You go to where do you go? Jersey Fit. What was it?
Jersey Shore Fitness Shop.
You're on fucking Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I want to do some more traveling after the show this summer. So maybe in August I try to put something together.
Damn, I do want to go to Texas as well. And if I'm there, I'll definitely let you know.
You've always got a spot, dude. I got way more space than I need.
Not in Asbury, dude. Just sleep over.
Fuck yeah, dude. No, seriously. Yeah,
years.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so going all the way back to the nationals thing, if I do well, I'll consider it. I think it'd be really cool to go. I also have athletes. I still have one guy who intends to do a national show, and I do want him to be the priority. I think he's a better bodybuilder than me. I want my athletes to be better bodybuilders than me, so I want them to be the focus. But that's something that I've been kind of like throwing around with myself because I've been lifting weights for 10 years now, you know, like I maybe don't look it, but I think if you look back to how I started, you can see like, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
But I know that I'm probably not going to be making my living through competing in bodybuilding. Like I'm not that good, you know? And so there's coming a point where I'm like, okay, do I want to take a step back and continue to like try to progress in areas, but not make that the forefront of my focus and, you know, put a little bit more effort and time into growing businesses and like, you know, just things like that, staying in shape a little bit more. I feel like I'm a lot more productive when I feel good about myself and I feel fucking great about myself right now. And I'm just like, shit is getting done, dude.
Yeah, dude, we have a lot of similarities because I feel like that's kind of where I'm at too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right now on prep, I feel like there's no task that's insurmountable. There's nothing that I can't solve. I just need to like think about it. And I feel like I have the space and the mental energy to sit down and think about it and fucking make it work.
I totally agree with that.
Whereas like, even like last winter, getting out of bed was hard. You know what I mean? I didn't like how I looked. I put myself in a totally new environment. So things were off, you know?
Of course.
And I don't want to go back to that point. And so I don't want to get like as out of shape off season as I have in the past, even though growth is still something that I need so much, just because it takes so much away from my life. And so that's not very like hardcore bodybuilder to say, you know what I mean? But so I'm kind of playing with this, like, well, maybe I don't need to be a hardcore bodybuilder anymore. And I think how I do it this show is really going to inform more of that decision making.
I'm just going to say that either it'll maybe dim the fire or ignite it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
That's kind of how I say it. Because I'm in the same place. Like, I definitely still like truly embody being a hardcore bodybuilder, and I definitely am not ready to give it up.
No,
and I know you're not either. But I also know what like competing as a pro entails in regards to protocols and stuff like that, and like longevity, and like I'm 32, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not really trying to go to the Olympia when I'm 40 or whatever it may be. Like, for me, like bodybuilding has opened up a bunch of doors. I've created a bunch of networking connections and stuff like that through it. And I think that for me, the goal is to become a pro. It's always going to be the goal. And then will I compete as a pro? I don't even know. It's just like I want to be a professional bodybuilder because it's an awesome accolade to have.
Yes.
Also, it's gonna like, not for nothing, it's gonna help business. Like having that title, you know, I professionally, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like that's kind of where I have the same mental shift as well, where it's like this has brought me money, you know, in a sense that I don't kill myself and compete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where it's kind of like we're maturing as bodybuilders and men, where it's like we more so like can still do this, but don't need to like put every single marble in it because now it's created fruit elsewhere that we can kind of like sell from, you know?
Yeah, exactly right. It's funny you said that because my goal always, like from the beginning, was, man, I would love to be a professional. I would love to do decently at a pro show someday. The reason I wanted that in the first place is I would watch videos of like bodybuilders in the 80s and 90s, and they'd go like to Europe and they do the whole circuit there, and they're traveling around and competing and just being fucking bodybuilders. I'm like, dude, that looks amazing. The game has changed a little bit since then. People, I don't think, are doing quite so many shows back to back like that over a season, but there's no reason you couldn't, you know,
I actually think it's cool that people do that. I've always wanted to have a season where I just do like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool. I don't know why. It's like, it's exciting. I've never ever done that. It's always been right to the off season. And the off seasons for me are always like 1 to 2 years. So it's like, you know, and I know you get it because me and you were smaller. So it's like, you're just kind of watching everybody do things.
I know. And you're like, when's my turn?
It's very slow, but like, that's why we got better.
It is. It's true. Yeah, you got it. You got to pay the dues.
Kind of just you get out of the spotlight, which I'm okay with, and kind of just bury into your craft, learn more. And then like when you get into doing a competition, you really get to see like, wow, I really sacrificed, X amount of things and time to get this much progression. And then that to me where it's like it's a no-brainer now for me to just really buckle down and have real off seasons. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, right on, dude. So are you having to travel for your show, or is it gonna be pretty local?
So this one's pretty close.
Okay.
It's about an hour away. I got a room at the venue, so
Okay.
I was waiting. He's traveling.
You're set. And I figure you'll have people in your circle who will kind of be there and helping you out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really, really important.
Yeah, very. I have a lot of people come in, which is it's all I care.
Yeah.
Also, I'm looking forward to is literally just sitting down with everybody after. That's all I care about, dude.
Yeah. I actually feel that like heavily. I'm really looking forward to the night of the show because I have so much fun at these things. I have like just talking to people backstage and like vibing with guys, and like everybody's been through what you've been through, right? I've never had like a big group of people to kind of sit down with and kind of ruminate over everything afterwards. And I think
it'll be the first time.
This year I'm hoping, I mean, I've made friendships here. And so I'm really looking forward to being able to share that with people. That's really cool, man. Well, shoot, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I've enjoyed chatting with you.
For sure.
I mean, I appreciate you coming on any fucking peak week.
I'm humbled for real.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I've thought about this a little bit more. I haven't done many of these in a while. I think I put too much pressure on myself when I first started to do them. Is like, oh, they need to be like a professional, like interview, fucking whatever.
No, this feels really natural, dude. And
That's
really like just cool. Like
that's what I wanted. I'm like, you know what?
How am I supposed to go about this? Like, and then like I'm just thinking, I'm like, we're probably just gonna be ourselves, and this is gonna be cool. And like, yeah, this was really cool, dude.
Yeah, I've made some really fucking cool friends, and you're one of them. And so
I could see you doing this, man. Seriously, like this is cool. You ask a lot of questions, man, and like you bring a lot to the table as well. Like again, dude, really, thank you, man.
Dude, anytime, seriously, anytime you want to, whether it's on a camera or not, you want to
bullshit,
give me a call and chop it up. Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I'll hit you up after your show for sure, and we can talk about like how it went and everything.
For sure.
I've watched Cam peak people. I've been through the process with him and talked with him as it was happening. I haven't experienced it myself, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I think I'll be able to get some good info on it from you once you're out the other side of this.
Absolutely, dude.
All right, man. Well, good luck this week. Finish strong, dude. You look fucking phenomenal. I'll see you on the other side, man.
Yes, sir, bro. You have a great day, dude. Take care, dude.